Welcome to the It's a Someone You Know show, a series presented by the Council on Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. I'm Heidi Ranking, host of the show, and today we're going to be talking about the background on the Council, also known in the community as CSADV, and the services they offer right here in Siouxland. Now today is just going to be more of an overview, and in the coming months we'll learn more about the services in more detail, hear about how domestic violence and sexual assault affect our community, and ways that we can help victims of violence. Now today in the studio with me is Becky Carlson, the Associate Director of CSADV. Thanks for joining me today, Becky.
Thank you.
Now could you give us some background on when and how CSADV came into existence?
Yes, the Council on Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence came into existence in 1978 when two agencies, Domestic Violence Project and a Sexual Assault Project, combined to better utilize funding that was available.
Okay. Now, the CSADV right here in Siouxland, tell us about the service area that you guys would serve.
We provide services in 3 counties in Sioux City: Woodbury County, Plymouth County, and Monona County. We also provide our services in Dakota County and in Nebraska and Union County in South Dakota.
Okay. Now, services that you guys would provide, can you give us a little overview on what you guys do for the community?
Yes. We have 3 really important things that we always talk about our agency. Is first, we have a confidential services that we provide, and we also have a 24-hour, everything we do can happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year. And all of our services are free of charge, which is unusual for many nonprofit organizations in the area.
Okay. Tell us about maybe the 24-hour crisis line.
Okay. Our crisis line is answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by a trained advocate. And that is an opportunity for people to call in if there's something going on that they need to have some reassurance, some information, some options, and things like that. So if they have questions, they can ask that advocate, and hopefully that advocate can provide the accurate information needed.
Okay. And you guys actually have a safe shelter right here in Siouxland. Tell us about that.
Yes, we do. We have our safe shelter that allows for folks to come in if they're in an unsafe situation. We provide counseling, one-on-one counseling and group counseling, support groups. We do some staffings with those folks to help them figure out where they want to go after their stay in shelter. And then we also provide all of the food and all of their basic needs, because lots of times folks come into the shelter without having anything. Sure. So we try to provide as much of that as we can.
Okay. Yeah. And advocacy, you guys can help people out. Tell us about that.
We also provide advocacy in many different realms. Our medical advocacy, that we go to the hospital and work with folks if they're having needing to have some procedures done, or if there's an injury that causes medical attention, we do that. We go to court. We do advocacy with police departments and any social service agencies that are in town. We are fortunate enough to have an advocate that is actually housed down at the Sioux City Police Department. Okay. And so that position there is there to be able to work with any folks that are working in that criminal justice system. And then we also have a location in the Le Mars area, so that advocate can then provide services within that community.
Well, I would think with people going through any type of violence, counseling and support groups would be very important. You guys also offer those.
Yes, we do. Anyone that, if they're even not staying in shelter, we can provide counseling for anyone that outside and out of the community that wants to come in and get counseling. We have someone that works specifically with domestic violence, and then someone that works specifically with sexual assault. Each of those programs then also provide a support group in that area. And we also have someone that can provide one-on-one counseling for children that have experienced violence or witnessed violence. Okay. And then we also provide groups with those children too.
Now, speaking of children, I know I've met him. Tell us about Happy Bear.
Happy Bear is a wonderful program that CSADV has to talk about good touch, bad touch, and mixed up touch. He is a panda that visits many of the schools, preschool areas, and talks about the appropriateness, good boundaries, and that kinds of things. And then works with the children on developing safety plans if they need to, who to talk to if something would happen, and that kind of thing.
Educating them really early on that these services are available.
Correct.
Right here in Sioux City, and how to get a hold of everybody.
Correct.
Okay.
We also provide education to multiple different schools in town. A lot of elementary schools receive our education programs, Body Safety and Me, and things like that, that work primarily on bullying issues, and then gender violence, gender justice, which is also then talking about relationships, positive things that go on in relationships, and help create the foundation for healthy relationships.
Okay, and community outreach. A couple of different programs, the SAVE and FAITH programs. Tell us about those.
Our SAVE program is a program that happens with teens, and they work primarily in the schools, again, trying to promote the healthy relationships. That's primarily in the Lamars, Plymouth County area.
Okay.
Our FAITH program is a program that reaches out to the faith communities to provide information, not only to the congregation, but to the clergy, to help them have the appropriate information about how to work with someone that is experiencing domestic violence and sexual assault. Then we're opening that up then to the congregations to be able to be trained as an advocate. So
Great.
if they're interested in that, that would be a great opportunity to come to our agency, get a great 40-hour training, and then be able to advocate for our agency.
Tell us about your cell phone program.
Our cell phone program is a program that allows for women or victims of domestic violence or sexual assault to be able to get a phone that just dials straight into the comm center 911. So if they're in an unsafe situation, they need to get some assistance from the police department, it just dials right into their number, into the communication center, and gets an officer out there as soon as possible.
Okay. Now, one of the most recently added programs that you guys maybe people don't know about, your transitional living.
Our transitional living program is an exciting program that we just started this past year. It is to be able to help victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. We're basically trying to alleviate barriers. So if they're choosing or trying to become self-sufficient, and there's barriers, lots of times women have barriers that are causing them not to be able to become self-sufficient. We try to work with them on ways to conquer those barriers so that they can be self-sufficient. Maybe some of that would be financial assistance. It could be just providing support and information. It could be providing help with daycare. It just depends on what that particular person needs at that time.
So many things people might not realize.
Right.
People might just be thinking sexual abuse, domestic abuse. You guys touch so many different things.
Correct.
The community outreach programs, the transitional living,
Right.
all those things are right here in Siouxland. A lot of people probably don't know
Right.
a lot about that. Well, we've covered quite a bit today. How can people get a hold of CSADV if they want to learn more or if they need some help?
They can call 1-800-982-7233 or 258-7233. And those, again, are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And you guys also have a website. People can maybe visit that.
Correct. It's www.safefromabuse.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me today, Becky, and for all that great information. And thank you all for watching It's Someone You Know show. The chances are great that domestic violence and sexual assault does affect someone that you know, a mother, a sister, a coworker, maybe even your best friend. And we're fortunate to have a place like CSADV right here in Siouxland to help victims of these terrible crimes. So watch in the coming months to learn a little bit more about the programs in detail, the effects and the warning signs of domestic violence and sexual assault, and how maybe you could help. I'm Heidi Ranking, and thank you for watching.